Hello and welcome back to another reaction. In this occasion, Mob Psycho 100, episode 6. Last time we saw, of course, an amazing battle. Yes, full of special effects, full of incredible action, but also full of emotion and kind of feelsy and really, as one of you said, kind of a collide between moral grounds or moral ideals. So it was an interesting one because of the context of the fight. Yes, it was spectacular at first because it was just this amazing showing off of power from one of them. In this case, it was Teru. Yeah, it was Teru. And Mob just kind of taking it without really trying to counterattack or something, because yes, Mob knows that he's probably the most powerful ESP user, but he has a moral code that he will never use his power against another human being, thanks to the words of Raging. Yes, unbelievable. Raging was wise for a moment. But yes, that's what makes more intense the fight. Yes, before this moment of this collide of ideas, it was a very not flamboyant, very spectacular fight. But after that, really what came down to the freaking moral stand and the realization of from Teru that he was something else, that what he believed, that's when the fight changed in 180 degrees and 180 degree. It changed and it gave us a very intense fight, but not spectacular. It was just intense and in the right amount. Later on, of course, we saw the amazing power that Mob could muster, and we didn't saw that much. But we saw just how powerful Mob is and why he's trying to control himself. It was really exciting. It was really, really, I don't know. It makes you think. It provides a really deep thought if you really analyze the scene. So yeah, I love last episode, and every episode is becoming better and better than the last one. So yes, I'm so excited for the next one. But anyway, yeah, I think I spoke enough about this episode in the last video. So yeah, let's just cut all of this and watch the next one, shall we? Seriously, Roger? What? Oh! You sick though! What? Concentration! Seriously? From New Jersey? The amount of bullcrap that Reggie is capable of spewing! Oh boy! What? Holy cow! Oh! What the? Man, this is so ridiculous. Yeah, probably. Self-defense. Oh man. Oh yes, exactly. But they were really their friends, or yeah. In the yes, exactly. Poor Mo. He's really feeling. Seriously? That's the only thing you're thinking? Yes, exactly! You help a lot of people! What? What's in the working? I guess there are a lot. You're so close. What is her plan? Finally! What? Okay. Yes. This is weird. What? Okay, I wasn't expecting the last bit. Okay, it is. I love how sinister this look. Holy. Oh, this is kind of creepy, the president. Again, the really creepy scenery here. I love it. It's over exaggerated. Well, yes, you're right. Well, yeah. Oh, what the? Seriously? Yeah, holy. This is really, really... Oh boy! I really wasn't expecting this full laboratory! Seriously? Okay! That was really literally a front! I wasn't... You're confusing him, man. Another girl here? Oh! Oh, there is someone sinister! Seriously? So she can point out the freaking weird stuff, but he can't? Oh, I love, yes! Holy! Oh, holy, that's a disgusting room! Why does he live like that? Oh, again. Yes, you need to do that. Okay. Oh, I love this other side of the garden is greener. Yeah. Oh. Yes, this is weird. Okay, I like this character development. What? Okay, they went overboard. What is going on? What the hell? Of course not! Okay? This is a weird episode. Oh, okay! Tell me that he's going to become another member. Oh wow, that's gross. But this is not true! Oh man! Well, yes, from my perspective, this is obviously a lie. But he never hit anybody who is not a delinquent. Something I really noticed that. Yes! Yes, that's true! Oh! Oh, yes. Okay, that's a stronger evidence. Yes, but this is... Oh, yes, he's trapped. Record leaker. What the hell is this? Oh, I don't think she... Well, she still lives. Oh no! Oh! Okay, I love the exaggerated portion here. Oh! Oh boy, poor fellow! Oh, holy! So he has psychic powers not as strong as his... Oh! Wait! Is that Dimple? Oh, it's Dimple! He survived! And he can see him! Okay! Really? In this episode, Mob took a kind of a stick back and let all the characters being seen. Okay! This is a weird episode, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's quite interesting. It's not character growth, but a good character analysis so far. So yeah, I'm gonna watch this again, and well, be back with my comments. See you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. I just watched a second time the sixth episode of the series, and this is an odd one. And by that I mean that really Mob intervened in this one very little, and mostly in the background. The protagonist of this episode was actually his brother, his little brother. And something I need to mention, something that really has no relationship with anything else, that's something that really occurred to me while watching this one, especially because it was so focused on the brother. I always had the idea that his younger brother was actually his older brother. I don't know why. Perhaps because he's more mature. Perhaps because he looks more older and more a lot more wise. So yes, I always thought about him as his older brother of Mob. It isn't the case yet, but now that really was hammering in thanks to this episode, because yeah, it's just little brother. I need to remember that, because yes, even though I knew that wasn't the case, in my mind always was thinking that yeah, this is the older brother. As I said before, this is no relationship with anything. This is just a curious state of mind. So yeah, anyway, yeah, going back to the episode. Now we see, of course, the first glimpses of the episode and kind of clues as to what is the episode about. That we're focusing from the beginning on the little brother. This is an interesting approach, because my guess is at the beginning he wasn't envious of the power. He was fascinated by Mob's power. He was just, when he was holding the water, and I mean Mob, and the other brother was just pulling his hand in the freaking water. He was fascinated by the brother's power. But my guess is, in this state of child innocence, it wasn't that much. He never thought beyond that. He always thought that, oh, someday I'm going to have my powers. Someday I'm going to have my powers. Someday I'm going to have my powers. But since that didn't happen, never happened, or at least not until well, the last few minutes of this episode, uh, he started to grow envious. And yes, I mentioned in previous videos that hopefully it's not going to be his character arc, that the envy is some weird, or I have always something weird about this one, or the beginning of this jealousy rage that we're seeing. But in later episodes I said, okay, yes, envy is a good catalyst. MB can create something better, another character development or character analysis in this case. Yes, there is some character growth in here for the brother, but not much. It's more character analysis. And yes, this is what I find fascinating. As I said a million times before, one is one hell of a writer. He knows how to write characters, he knows how to write stories around characters, around interesting characters, and make it work. So he's writing and really writing this little brother character from a long time. And yes, this is a short series, but it's not just suddenly, oh yes, I'm envious of my brother and something's going to happen immediately after I established that in the show. No, it was established. It was okay, the brother is envious or jealous. We don't know exactly in the first glance. And then we start to see the jealousies grow, and still he's receiving information from different sources, from MOV, from the TV, from other places. And the reporter, the school reporter, is giving information to the brother. And now in this episode, or in the last episode, said, okay, I need to do something because my brother is kind of hurting himself or something or the other. In the last moment when he saw the news report about the school being destroyed. And then in this episode, which actually focus on him, is when we end that small arc or the small preparation for the brother arc. Because yes, that is my guess, that is what's going to happen. The arc of the brother is going to be the next one, and I don't know if Mob is going to fight him or really try to avoid a fight with his brother and try to reason with him, or is something completely different. I don't know. I really seriously don't know. Because in other animes, yes, I could predict everything that is going to happen. Oh, yes, this is going to happen, or yes, this is going to happen. With one, that is pretty difficult to do. Really difficult. Because, as I said before, one is one hell of a writer. So, the brother arc is in full motion, and I'm loving it because it's prepared with small scenes in some other episode, but not the focal point. And now that we have that preparation, we're taking the focal point on the brother, which is the important part of these episodes, and now really developing that characteristic or that moment or that thing that I prepared before. And that is something I love. I really, really love that. But of course, the episode continues, and in this case, we're kind of seeing an interview between the news reporter or the school news reporter and Mob. She knows that Mob was the real cause behind the incident with the school. He doesn't want to say anything and really is holding back because he's ashamed of said incident. And it's understandable because Mob wants to control his power. He wants to be able to just don't do that. Don't lose control. Don't be unconscious and really lose control and releasing this demon that he has inside him. So yeah, he's not really proud of what he did. Even though he repaired the school later on, even though he did good later on, he is not. He's just focusing on the negative. Hell, even in the previous scene of this one, we're seeing kind of a spoof moment that really, Reiji, he's an amazing con artist. He's able to pull some amazing crap. Hell, even the freaking moment that the father and the son were supposed to be talking. And yes, I should say the father is supposed to be talking with the son. And that's fascinated that he's just able to really con everybody because that takes talent. That is Reijin's talent. Being such a great actor. Man, the amount of bullcrap that man can pull off, it's unbelievable. And yes, he's pretty strong, physically strong. He just knocked down this guy like it was nothing with his spinning move. But yeah, no, the real focus of that scene, besides, of course, the incredibly amazing talent of Reijin, is The fact that Mob doesn't think too highly of himself, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. A good thing because thanks to the amount of power that Mob has, it will be extremely dangerous for the rest of the world that Mob believes himself as the chosen one or as the better than the rest of the world. Just like Teru. Teru has a big ego. Unfortunately for him, it doesn't have the same amount of power as his ego. Mob has an incredible ego, but he's really not a bad person. And he is really trying to control his power. He doesn't want his power. But unfortunately, because yes, poor guy, he's an innocent soul, as I said before. And one of you said he needs to be protected. And yes, I agree. He's way too innocent. But that's a bad thing for Mob especially. Because yes, when Reggie said that this was self-defense, even if he knocked unconscious somebody, it wasn't self-defense. And yeah, he was kind of right. Like, knife was against his throat, so yeah, it's obvious in self-defense. But when Mob starts speaking about the incident that took place, I don't know, a day before, or perhaps a couple of days before that, that is when the self-defense cannot be applied. But again, Mob is really innocent because he really tried to fight back this feeling, this explosion, this psychic explosion. He really did. Unfortunately, he lost consciousness, and that's when the demon was released. And I'm calling it demon for a lack of a better term, because I have no idea what that is. I don't know if it's the subconsciousness of Mob or it's another entity. So yeah, I'm going to be calling it a demon, even though I don't know if it's a demon or it's another thing completely. So, Mob is still innocent. Yes, he's angry with himself because he couldn't control himself. But again, seen in an objective perspective, Mob is not guilty of that. Mob is really innocent. And I love this little child that really is trying to do something else, not just psychic powers. He's trying to focus his life in something else. Yes, he knows he's the most powerful one. He knows this. That is my bet. He really knows this. But he's really trying to do more like his brother, more like his little brother. So, yeah, it's a fascinating premise, the relationship between these two brothers. Something that, yes, we're going to explore later on. But anyway, yeah, going back to the episode. When the reporter left, the president of the X-Club, well, I said the ex-president of the X-Club because really it doesn't exist anymore. She is really trying to get her dream come true. This is something fascinating because this is the beginning of the background for Mob. This is kind of the last time that Mob really did something important in this episode. The discussion with the other president. So yeah, Tomo is desperate because she now knows that Mob can find another Esper. So yeah, this is a way to achieve her goal. The goal to, of course, find extraterrestrial life. Yeah, and they go on a date, let's say, because yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, and I love the little date they have. They just sit down, on a bench and try to find the freaking SP user. And yes, when Mob pointed out, oh, look at that guy, I said, oh, this is an Esper user? An Esper? No, there's just a weird hairdo. And, oh, yeah, this is weird. Bam! In the freaking back of the head. So, yes, I love how Mob never going to attack anybody. Yeah, she's exasperated, but still, it's kind of funny and cute at the same time. Yes, she is still trying to use Mob. But perhaps she's going to get something out of it. Perhaps she's romantic subplot, I want to think. Again, I don't want to think about her like this evil really just taking advantage of anybody. So yeah, I'm trying to get the best out of the situation right now. Anyway, yes, going back to this one. The other delinquents are trying to find the guy who defeated, of course, the shadow leader of the other school. Because my assumption is they want to recruit him and pretend he is just the shadow leader and blah blah blah, something or another. Of course, they go talk about it with the president of the Body Improvement Club, and yeah, they have this little talk, but really nothing come out of it. My guess is the president kind of knows that Mob is an esper, but he doesn't want to let the rest of the world know, because yes, he understands that Mob wants to become better physically. So yeah, he's hiding him quite well, let's say. This, of course, leads to another scene in which, really, one of the delinquents, I think in Omagawara or something like that, Omagawara? I'm really not sure the name, something around those words. And yeah, he's apologizing to Mob because, well, it was their fault that he ended up in the other school. So yeah, it's understandable why they want to apologize. But this leads to a confusion. The little brother believes that they are threatening his brother. And since he wants to protect, I don't know if his brother or the rest of the cult, because he has seen the freaking power that Mob has, he's taking action in the how could I forgot? The council. The disciplinary council, the school council, let's call it like that. And of course, this leads to something else in the future. But before that, we're seeing that he is confused, and I mean the brother is confused with Mo. And he was invited to this kind of facility that research psychic powers. I thought at the beginning that they want to use him for something more sinister. But yeah, so far, what I have seen of this laboratory, it's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of sad even. Because the ones who were recruited in this place were really pathetic, to be honest. They aren't powerful. Yes, they are psychic users, but not very powerful. Someone using all his power can barely bend a freaking spoon. The other one kind of see the cards below her. It's more of a... She's very lucky in this one, because yes, he had a 62% of success, something like that. I will call it more like, yeah, luck. Anything else is just ridiculous. The pyrokinesis guy that barely is able to ignite a little flame in his finger, and the two twins that really just, again, it's pretty useless. Yes, perhaps they have the talent to see each other's mind or something like that, but it's pretty useless. So the only interesting part for the brother is that the guy who is running the place wants to be an esper himself. That gave him hope that perhaps one day he will be able to become an esper user. So he stays in this facility and helps to investigate. And yes, again, I thought it was a complete fraud and they want to use it something else, until I see the interior of the building, that this is really a really good research facility. But anyway, yeah, that is the hope of the brother, that one day he will become an esper. Of course, we're seeing again this kind of weird moment. Yes, Mom is again training with the guys, and I'm not going to get tired of saying this. These guys are amazing. The Body Improvement Club is amazing. They are defying cliches one after the other. And they really like Mob. And they want him to improve. Even when he failed, they don't make fun of him. Because Mob get up almost immediately and said, "Oh my god, you're improving your stamina, Mob. Good for you." That is That is exactly how your friends should be. Yes, you can tease each other, but in the end, they trust you. And I love these guys because they are encouraging Mob to be a better person in the way they are. Because that is what Mob wants. Mob wants to improve his body, and they can help him with that. So they are using their talents to help someone else. I love those guys. I really, really do. They are among my favorite characters in the show, and there are a lot of good characters in this show. Hell, you can see Mob is more relaxed with them because the Mob explosion, well, kind of like that. The psychic explosion goes lower when he is with them. So yeah, it is a fascinating one, and we're kind of seeing. I don't know if it's a glimpse for the future. My assumption it is because the same guy appears in the opening. When Mob detects another Esper, he has a sinister aura around him. So kind of Mob is hiding that information for Tomo. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. And again, I'm sorry for forgetting of the names. So, yeah, he's kind of protecting her. Because, yeah, that looks like a very dangerous man. Anyway, yeah, again, as I speak about the Esper users, and then we find something interesting. The president of the council, Shinji, he got the pressure that his older brother is very talented, and I mean intelligent or hardworking or something like that. He doesn't seems to have a lot of other talents. He's just perhaps or very intelligent or very hardworking, and this is something that really annoys this guy, the council president. I want to speak about the freaking room of the president. It's literally a dump, bag of trash in all the room, and he's content lying on top of them. My guess this is something, or this will have to do with something in the future. I am not exactly sure what is going to be, and that is very creepy. The way the president moves, the way the president behaves, and everything surrounding. This is a weird episode because, again, Mob is kind of in the background. He's not having much of an exploration in this episode. And then we're going to see that, yes, in the council they speak about getting rid of the delinquents of the school. One way, they're going to set a trap, the president and, of course, the brother. They hide, one of the recording parts in the desk of Omawara, something like that. Again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Onigawara. That's the name. Yes, sorry. I get happy because I remember that one. Anyway, yes, they try to hide the part of the recorder in the freaking desk. At the beginning, I never thought, what the hell were they doing? But of course, later on, we figured out that they try to plant evidence so he can be, I don't know if expelled or suspended or something like that, and he become an outcast in the school. But what makes this worse is that it's really, really low. Really, really low. And my guess he's doing, and I mean the brother is doing this because he wants to, I don't know, surpass expectations or wants to go against what he's been saying, or not him, what is being said about him by his family, by his brother. Well, yeah, the brother is part of the family, but yeah, he's not very happy with that. The consequences, he's not happy with what he created. But what makes this worse is that perhaps Onigawara was trying to, I don't know if redeem himself somehow when he went training with the president of the Body Improvement Club. It kind of led you in a good note for him. But later on, he is brought down with not illegal methods, not moral methods, not rightful methods. So yeah, that make it worse. The consequences of the action of these really immoral actions are worse because yes, you start to see, and not only in this episode, in previous one, that he's not such a bad person. Yes, he's a fighter, he's a delinquent. He tried to solve his problems with violence. But he always attends school, he has a perfect record of assistance, and yeah, he doesn't look like a bad person. The only thing I have seen him fight is other people with the same, let's say, passion that he has. This fighting, he's just fighting another fighters. Yeah, he kind of was the cause of the kidnapping of Mo. But again, perhaps the show is so good at making these characters complex that I'm really sympathizing with this delinquent. And of course, he was really shamed in public and been called a pervert and all that. And even his childhood friend called him that, called him gross. And that was the last hit. But again, a funny moment, we saw a panty shot and a bra shot even. But I love, the show is just thinking, yeah, the panty shot and the bra shot is kind of, yeah, it's kind of portrayed as a beauty. And even in the first moment, it's portrayed as a beauty when you see only the lips and the chin of the girl. But then we zoom out in the freaking whole face, and yeah, the girl is ugly as hell. Oh, you're just gross. And the voice changed in that moment. So yeah, it's part of the joke. And I want to know what is going to happen with him. Yes, I'm fascinated by this story of a secondary character. So, after this incident, the little brother is kind of thinking on what he did, and he's angry with himself, and he's starting to lose control of his emotions. In a moment, he throws the spoon, and we don't see what happened. He fine raging, later on, have a little bit of discussion. He's not happy with him, but he doesn't do anything, and then we saw the beginning of the freaking scene that is, my guess is the beginning of the brother arc. We saw that the spoon is bent in several places. Yes, and this is not something that is achieved by throwing it to the ground. Hell, a metal spoon is pretty hard to bend, even throwing it in the ground. But he was bent very weirdly. And then of course, return to the brother, and he's starting to see dimple. Something he wasn't capable of doing. So now we know that he just awoke his powers. How powerful are they? I have no idea. I highly doubt that he's in the same level as Mo. But he has psychic powers. That is something we now know. Again, this seems to be the beginning of the brother arc. And I'm really, really eager to see what one write for this character. The story really is now taking off. The first episode were just fighting other spirits and espers. But now we're having something deeper. Because yes, Mob only died in the end because it was human. The other guy was human. Before that, he never had any trouble destroying the enemy. But now with his brother, what is he going to do? This really opens the door for something great. A great character arc, a great character growth. I love what this episode brought to the table. Really loving it. And I cannot wait for the next episode, really. But I think I really exhausted the topic of this one. A really good one, a fascinating one, and I hope you enjoy it. And as always, thank you for your comments, your likes, your views, and your subscriptions. If you want to be a subscriber, click on the button for subscriptions and on the bell so you can get notifications. And of course, if you want to follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description below. So, yeah, guys, thank you for your attention. Thank you so much for your comments. And, well, see you in the next one. Bye.